Let me ask you something. If you told someone in 2018 that Morocco would go to a World Cup ranked 8th in the world, with a Champions League winner at right back, a goalkeeper who destroys teams in penalty shootouts, and a defensive record that made Spain, Portugal, and Belgium look average, would they believe you? No, they wouldn't. But that's exactly where we are. Morocco are not a surprise anymore. They are not a story. They are not a feel-good moment for neutral fans to enjoy before the real teams take over. They are a genuine World Cup contender. And if you haven't updated your opinion since Qatar 2022, this video is for you. Let's start with a number. 8th. That is Morocco's FIFA World Ranking heading into the 2026 World Cup. 8th in the entire world. Not 8th in Africa, 8th on the planet. Above Italy, above the Netherlands, above Uruguay. That number matters because it tells you something the casual fan still hasn't fully absorbed. Morocco's run to the Qatar semifinals was not luck. It wasn't the draw. It wasn't one hot goalkeeper or one great night. It was the beginning of something real. And in the 4 years since, Morocco have quietly, methodically built themselves into one of the most complete international sides on earth. You want to understand this Morocco team? Start at the right-back position. Achraf Hakimi is not just the captain of this squad, he is the single most impactful fullback at this entire World Cup, and it's not even close. In 2025, he scored PSG's opening goal in their 5-0 Champions League final demolition of Inter Milan, becoming the first Moroccan player in history to score in a European Cup final. That same season, he was named African Player of the Year. Think about what that means. A defender, African Player of the Year, because of how good he is going forward. Under Luis Enrique at PSG, Hakimi has registered 28 goal contributions across 2+ seasons. He sets records for decisive defensive performances in the Champions League. And when the biggest moments come, you might remember the Panenka against Spain in Qatar, calmly chipped down the middle of the goal in a World Cup penalty shootout, he doesn't flinch. Everything Morocco build going forward starts with Hakimi overlapping from deep, stretching defenses, arriving in spaces they haven't covered because they didn't think a fullback would get there that quickly. He is this team's identity as much as any system or formation. But if Hakimi is what makes Morocco dangerous going forward, what makes them almost impossible to beat is something far less glamorous: their defense. Go back to Qatar for a second. 7 games. And before the semi-final against France, Morocco had conceded 1 goal. And even that came from an own goal against Canada. Clean sheets against Croatia, Belgium, Spain, and Portugal. Some of the most technically gifted attacking sides in the world, all sent home without scoring. New head coach Mohamed Wabi has kept the same defensive DNA. The block stays compact, central corridors are closed, teams get forced wide, the lines stay tight and shift as a unit. It's suffocating to play against. At center back, Naif Aguerd organizes the back line with authority, comfortable on the ball, commanding in the air, and one of the better defenders in Ligue 1 with Marseille. Noussair Mazraoui offers experience and quality alongside him. And then there's Issa Diop, who only switched allegiance from France in March, adding a physical, imposing dimension to an already solid unit. And behind all of them, Yassine Bounou, 34 years old, still one of the best goalkeepers in the world. In Qatar, he saved 2 penalties in the shootout against Spain. Not 1, 2, in a World Cup knockout game. The man is made for big moments. In 2022, the midfield story was simple. Sofiane Amrabat ran more, fought harder, and won more possession than any other player at the entire tournament. 41 ball recoveries. Manchester United spent serious money on him the following summer. His role under Wabi is a little more uncertain now, with limited minutes in qualifying. But his quality when fit is not in question. What has changed is what's grown around him. Bilal El Khanous, 21 years old and already the creative engine of this midfield. After moving to Stuttgart from Leicester, he's been one of the most consistently influential midfielders in European competition. He sees passes before other players have even stopped running. He moves in ways that make organized defenses look disorganized. Ismail Saibari at PSV had arguably the finest club season of his career heading into this tournament, scoring from midfield, driving into spaces, adding goals that Morocco's 2022 team often lacked. Neil El Idrissi at Roma brings composure and intelligence in the middle phases. This midfield is not one player with 10 others. It is a genuinely deep, competitive unit. And that depth matters over 7 games. Every World Cup contender needs that one player in the final third who can produce something from nothing when the game is tight and the pressure is suffocating. For Morocco in 2026, that player is Brahim Diaz. Born in Malaga, developed at Manchester City, sharpened at Real Madrid, and then, in 2024, he chose Morocco over Spain and transformed into one of the Atlas Lions' most dangerous weapons. The pace, the dribbling, the vision in tight spaces, the ability to find a pocket between defensive lines and turn it into something dangerous. He has Real Madrid DNA, and on the world's biggest stage, players with Real Madrid DNA tend to shine. He will want to forget his penalty miss in the AFCON final, but in a World Cup, one missed penalty is context, not character. Around him, Abde Ezzalzouli terrorizes defenders from wide left. Elias Ben Seguir at Monaco, one of the most exciting young attackers in French football, gives Wabi a genuine creative option off the bench. And up front, Ayoub El Kaabi, the top scorer in the 2024 Europa Conference League, is the striker trusted to lead the line. This is a front line built to do more than it was asked to do in Qatar. And it needs to. People act like Morocco's story starts in 2022. It doesn't. 1970. Mexico. Morocco became the first African nation ever to draw a World Cup match, holding Bulgaria 1-1. A detail forgotten by most, a milestone remembered by everyone who played it. 1986. Mexico again. Morocco became the first African team to win a World Cup group, finishing above England, Poland, and Portugal. They reached the round of 16. First African team ever. They lost to West Germany, but they had already proved something. 2022, Qatar. First African nation in a semifinal. First Arab nation in a semifinal. They finished ahead of Belgium, Spain, Portugal, and England in terms of how far they went. They played 7 games, more than any African team in history at a single tournament. Each of these moments deposited something into the collective belief of a nation, a belief that the ceiling was always higher than the world assumed. The players in this squad grew up watching 2022. For some of them, that semifinal run is literally the reason they pushed to get here. Morocco's group, Brazil, Scotland, Haiti, is not a gift. But it's not a death sentence either. Brazil is Brazil. But Morocco beat Belgium, Spain, and Portugal in the same tournament. They know how to handle games against elite opposition. And once Morocco reached the knockout rounds, the dynamic shifts in their favor. Their defensive structure becomes harder to break as stakes rise. Their counter-attacking threat sharpens as opponents have to push forward to score. That's the system. That's always been the system. And it works when the game becomes a chess match. Then there's the factor no bracket can account for. North America in 2026, with one of the largest Moroccan diaspora populations in the world living across the continent, the Atlas Lions will not be short of noise. They will not be short of belief. They will not feel alone on foreign soil. That matters. In knockout football, it genuinely matters. Let me bring it back to where we started. Morocco arrive at the 2026 World Cup ranked 8th in the world. They have a back-to-back Champions League winner at right back, a goalkeeper who saved 2 penalties in a World Cup shootout, a defensive system that made elite teams look ordinary, a creative midfield finally deep enough to go 7 games, and a front line with the talent to do something Qatar's never quite had, attack with freedom. In 2022, the world called it a fairy tale. They were wrong. It was a foundation. Morocco are not here to be charming. They are not here to be celebrated for making the knockouts. They are here to win. And the teams who still haven't updated their opinion on the Atlas Lions, they're going to find out the hard way. If you want more deep dives on every team at the 2026 World Cup, subscribe. New videos every week leading up to the tournament. And let me know in the comments, how far do you think Morocco go this summer? See you in the next one.